I think the first thing on everybody's minds, the biggest story of this week, is definitely Davante Adams requesting a trade.
And the Raiders saying they will trade him too. It's not just requesting.
The Raiders I think are taking the correct approach by saying we'll consider any options if they want to come up, and they're going to field some phone calls. There's some notable teams that I think are probably, we could guess are on the list, but I think there's actually been confirmations of who the list is. So Ray, I want to start with you. What's your take on Davante Adams as a player? I feel like my guess would be he's right up your alley as the kind of player that you like. Just having done this show with you for almost 5 years now, the situation that he's in, and is there any stink on him, like coming from Green Bay to the Raiders, a player this good, like can't seem to stay on a team? Or are we firmly taking the approach of like, we all want to see him get unshackled from that turgid fucking offense that Luke Getsy is running, thankfully not in Chicago anymore, but in Las Vegas, and also hopefully not get teamed back up with Derek Carr in New Orleans, because everyone saw the video that went viral of Davante saying that guy's going to get me fucking killed. Or I may be paraphrasing, but essentially that's what he meant. So,
sure. I mean, listen, I mean, we put together a great article that's out there on MTP show.
Oh yeah, shout out to Greg's article.
Yeah, talking about what benefit it would have if he came to New England. Now, I don't think that that's something that's going to be a possibility, obviously, but it was something to think about hypothetically. But listen, he's been, as he said on Shannon Sharp show, he said when you talk about the top 5, you got to mention 17 in there, and
I would put him in the top 5 still.
Yeah, exactly. He's been special for a number of years, and obviously it hasn't been an ideal situation for him in Vegas. Obviously, he played with Derek Carr, at Fresno State, so I think that obviously played a large part in him wanting to be a Raider, and also being from California, and what they grew up in. So I get that. So listen, he got the hometown bug out the way. He played for them. It didn't work out. He still put up great numbers, but obviously, when you're playing with a washed up Jimmy G, and then now you're playing with, Gardner Minshew, who, really is just good in the backup role. Like, he's not someone that should be starting on a regular basis. It breeds frustration, and between the injuries, the coaching changes, and just the overall culture, it's not where it needs to be. So, I can't wait to see where he goes. I don't know where he ends up going. Like I said, I don't think he comes in New England, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a reunion with him in New York. I just wonder what it would take, because obviously they would want to keep Garrett Wilson, but I wonder what it would take to go get Davante Adams up in East Rutherford.
Do you think he demands that same price that the top tier wide receivers would get, like a first round? Because top 5, Justin Jefferson, for example, if he got traded this past offseason, that would have been like 2 first round picks, maybe even a second round, a third round to go.
No way they're trading 2 first
or at least
picks.
A first round pick. At least a first round pick.
Yeah. Not many people have 2, and that trading 2 is wild.
Well, wasn't Tyreek 2?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, he's superhuman. Like, I don't know if like, yeah, fine, maybe. I don't know if he was, but Tyreek Hill, I think, is a fucking cheat code. I'd give up a second round pick for him.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd go first round pick.
I think what happens is, because when you hear disgruntled and you hear, I think you automatically think it's problematic, right? So,
well, it usually is.
Yeah, it usually is, right? But remember, there's another guy that played in Oakland that was disgruntled, and was showing his ass literally in the stands. And he made his way up to Route 1 and had the best season of receivers ever had.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss. There you go. So, sorry, I'm just assuming people knew. Sorry, you're right. My bad. You're right.
No. I just wanted to be the one that got it right.
Randy Moss. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I love quizzes.
I do that from time to time. The 3 of us go into votes like no other people do. So it's bad, but it's all good. But yeah, so they've played this out before there. So they'll get some type of deal done. But like I said, I think that whoever gets him is going to get a guy that's motivated. And once again, he's done everything individually, so he's ready to win. And whoever
surprising that they're floating this now after a win too, though. I mean, I don't know what motive.
Yeah, but they know They know.
Yeah, but I mean, when the tea leaves are there, though, Bobby, like you know
true.
that, like
True.
if the writing is on the wall, it's time. It's time to go.
Yeah. I think for me with Davante Adams specifically, it was always like because he was Aaron Rodgers' guy, I was like, fuck him too, like by association. Then he kind of went away, like in sort of the national narrative, like the scope of what everyone's looking at when he's kind of lost on that offense. Like that happens to really good receivers when there's just nothing. They're just not getting highlights. They're not making it on TV every week. So it's a good question that Bobby raises because what would you give him? What would you give up for him? Has probably changed since his Green Bay days, even if we're kind of all sitting here saying he's not any different as far as like talent or stock. But just because some of that shine's probably gone off him because it's going to be his third team, I do think that the cap offers that the Raiders are going to get might be a little bit lower than what they paid for him. So, I think that might be like the stock has gone down. We have to just sort of and it's not his fault, I think is what we're saying.
So did y'all agree with what Teddy Bruschi said? Though? I don't know if y'all watched it on NFL.
I didn't hear it. What did he say?
Teddy Bruschi said that Kansas City should go get him.
Oh my God! Please, God damn it, no.
I mean, that would be the end of this football season. We should
please don't do
right
that.
Now. No more predictions.
And once again, Teddy, I get Teddy Bruschi seen it happen in real life. He's seen it happen in real time. So
it would be exactly that. It would literally be the somewhat disgruntled wide receiver from Oakland going to the best QB, and I think they would put up absolutely insane numbers. I mean, I don't even think that Mahomes plays with guys like. Well, he's never played.
He's never had a Davante Adams. That's for fucking sure.
I think that Tyreek Hill is like a different type of wide receiver. That goes without saying, but I think also Pat Mahomes is better since the last time he had a top 5 wide receiver. I think he's like improved. I think he knows he's the best guy now. He's not like I understand if people are shouting into their radios right now or whatever you're listening to this on. Like, I know his like form has dipped. But again, and I made this point on last week's show, people keep bringing up this stat like Pat Mahomes hasn't thrown for 300 plus yards in his last 12 games now. And I'm like, I know, but one of those games was him winning the Super Bowl. Like one of those 12 games was literally him going out there and winning the Super Bowl. So like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like it's over.
Still this year, so it's a moot point,
right? And I
hate that. I hate it.
But I mean, he's got to a point. He's got to a point where obviously
we got to start nitpicking.
So that Brady got to it. That Peyton Manning got to.
Just the NFL we live in.
We're not doing it here on this show. I think that like the obvious because I'm just not going to be that guy on the internet that sounds dumb. Well, I am often. But I'm not going to do it on purpose. It's the idea that he's not still the best guy. Not true. In fact, by a mile, I think he's still the best guy because all right, like you see Josh Allen's performances over the first few weeks. I think Lamar's put up really good numbers. Like there's Burrow's starting to improve. There's guys all over the league that like started well. By the end of the year, I promise you, we're all still going to want Pat Mahomes as our guy if we're trying to win a Super Bowl. It's just like we all lived this though already. It's like to your point, like to your Teddy Bruschi point, is like we all lived this. I guess you'd call it phenomenon. One generation ago with Brady, and I said it about him, and I said it about the Pats, and I'll say it now about the Chiefs. It's like the sooner you just understand that they're the guys you need to go beat. And that'll be really impressive when, whoever dethrones them this year or next year. I mean, I don't think they're going to win 4 in a row, but who fucking knows? Somebody's got to go get them now. And if he has Davante Adams,
no one's ever won.
Has someone won that?
No way. No.
Pittsburgh didn't win 4 in a row in the 70s?
Three so.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Three's the record.
No, they won 4 in the 70s, though. They won 4.
But 9 in a row.
9 in a row. Got you. Okay.
So I think did the Bills go to 3 in a row or did they go to 4 in a row?
Well, Bills went to 4 in a row, but I mean,
they lost 4 in a row.
So that is twice.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
tough.
like,
and then, the Bills aren't going to do really good on this show today either. I'll be totally honest with you. Not at least not in night camp. But listen, if Davante Adams landed, not to over speculate here, but if he landed in Kansas City, I think that'd be a wrap on the fucking season, to be totally honest with you, not to be hyperbolic. I think the Jets have inquired. I think that would make them a lot better too, for obvious reasons. The reuniting with the Rodgers thing. And they clearly need help. We're going to talk about them a little bit later, but go ahead. No, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
No, I think the only team I feel like he could go to where he might tail off, and I feel like you guys know what I'm about to say, is the Tennessee Titans. Because every great receiver that has gone there has
Just
tailed
goes
off.
there to die.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Andre Johnson, obviously
DeAndre Hopkins is there right now.
Hopkins is there now. So it's just like if Tennessee finds a way to trade for him, it's like
Ridley.
Basically, the Buccaneers would go into the shadow realm. Like you would not hear about him ever again if he goes to Tennessee. And once again, the Titans fans is going to hear this. That might get emotional. Oh well. Once
Do those
again, it's true.
exist? Do Titans fans exist? I don't think I've ever.
I'm sure they do.
I was a Titans fan when Eddie George played there and Steve McNair played there. I
Right,
wasn't
but
a primary fan.
That's old school.
Right. Frank Whitecheck, Kevin Dyson, Derek Mason, the boys are not walking through the door anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So
Derek Mason,
it's a new day. Yeah,
I used to call them the baby Rams in my head. You know, like they were like built. Their offense was built exactly like the greatest show on turf, except for the QB position, and they ran so many of the same plays.
I mean, there was a dog though, but
no, I mean, I liked it. I love Steve McNair. He's one of my favorite ever QBs. He's just very different than Kurt Warner, like play style wise. But like it was like the funky. I thought they were like the funky Rams in that era. They were like the Rams with like a little disco. You know what I mean? And Eddie George is such a
we saw it in the Super Bowl. You know, they were that close.
They were literally that close.
Yeah.
That was so heartbreaking for me. I really wanted them to win that. But listen, Davante Adams, good luck to you. I think you're a real talented football player. I think a bag, at least one more bag, is probably in your future wherever you go. I think that you're going to have a great life wherever you go. And I think you should think about maybe coming to Chicago. Because honestly, DJ Moore's lazy ass is fucking killing me over the last 3 weeks. And I know we just signed him to a crazy fucking contract, but we'll get to that.
Jerry need to call too, Bobby. Jerry need to call him.
Yeah.
Jerry need to call Las Vegas.
We can use him.
Yeah, you could use. Yeah, I mean, your back feet.
Especially if Cooks is going to be out.
We can get a running back too.